Hi, how are you? Welcome back. Rush Limbaugh, half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair. Dedicating each day's program to young millennials. We know you're frightened. We know you're scared. But you need not be. Oh, that reminds me. I was going to talk about, and I am, John Brennan, CIA, McCain, sound bites. But I've got a story here. Here it is. I want to get into this. I may not have a chance to get to it today, but I'm going to try. By the way, we have Bret Baier of Fox News coming up in a half hour. He has an extraordinary book about Dwight Eisenhower. 3 days in January. It's a historical perspective on the Eisenhower presidency, but focuses on the transition from Eisenhower to JFK. And a farewell address that Eisenhower made, warning of the military-industrial complex and so forth. And Baier's book on this apparently has blown everybody away who has read it. So he's coming on here to talk about it and how it relates to the transition here. I ran across this story at PJ Media. How to talk Trump with your terrified progressive adult children. And it's a how-to column written by a man named Mark Ellis. And it details what may be reality for many American families. You have mom and dad, unless they're baby boomers, and they have kids who have become adults, and they're progressive snowflakes. And they're literally quaking in their boots in fear over Trump. Just like these little snowflakes on college campuses are. And they can't function. They're so out of sorts, they don't know what to do. And this guy's run into the circumstance. So he wrote an advice column for parents who have adult children who are uber progressives or leftists about how to talk to them. How to talk Trump with your terrified progressive adult children. Now, I, of course, am not presented with this challenge. I have nephews and nieces, but they're all, we don't have to worry about these, they're fine. I don't have adult kids who have become mind-numbed robot leftists. But I read this anyway. And it really is kid gloves. It's really kid gloves. And I'm thinking, is this the way to do it? And people, yeah, you've got to do it, kid gloves. You've got to be very gentle and you've got to be very patient. You can't just tell them there's nothing to be afraid of. You can't tell them they're acting irrationally or silly or any of that. And I think back to my dad. My dad, some of you may have heard me say this. My friends in high school on a Friday night, instead of going out and trying to get illegal beer and stuff, would come over to my house and sit around and try to say anything to get my dad riled up and get on politics and just get him going. And then we'd just sit there for hours listening to him warn us about what was going to happen if we didn't stop the communists, if we didn't stop the Democrats. He would say, you boys, you're all going to be slaves. You're going to be slaves of these people like Sander Van Oker, who was a commie SOB media guy at NBC. Sander Van Oker, he's going to be the first guy the communists come from. All of these media people, they're going to be the first ones shut down. They think they're going to be the best friends of these Soviets. No way. And he would get going on this stuff, and these guys, my friends, would just sit back and listen to it. Now, I can't imagine a millennial today surviving it. They would be reduced to tears and running out of the house in the first 5 minutes, apparently. So back in that, but this is the way we were taught. This is the way we were told the way of the world. This is the way we were warned and educated. And apparently you just can't do it that way today with today's millennial adults or even older adult progressives if they are your children. And I don't sit around thinking about this problem much because I don't face it. But I'm fascinated by it. So hopefully today I'll have a chance to get into some of the advice he gives. And I would love to get your reaction to it, too, at some